Alright, I hope my hair looks good, but hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different than what I've done in the past. Normally I do like day in the lives and, you know, come with me to this and whatnot, but I am gonna actually do a book series review. So 2024, one of my New Year's resolutions was to get back into reading. When I was in middle school, in elementary school, I was a bookhead. And then like I just fell out of it for like a decade. And so I like restarted up my reading journey and here we are. So I absolutely love reading. I read things from self-help. I try to keep it, you know, self-improving just a little bit. Love smut, fantasy. I just recently got into dark romance, so that's new, and we'll actually be reviewing a dark romance book series. So let's get started. Since I've never done this before, I decided to have ChatGPT, I call him Chat. I had Chat just pull up like a series of questions to go over the series. The book series is, if I can find the first one, right here. The book series is it's the Legacy of God series by Romanc. This is the first one. This is God of Malice. Her books are pretty long, and the reason I started this series was because I had finished, I think it's called Mask On or Mask Off or Caught Up, Caught On. Let me see. Okay, yes. So I randomly decided to get, what was it? No, it was Lights Out. Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. So I read that. That was the very first dark romance book I've ever read in my life, and I was like, interesting. Let's try another. Let's see if we really like it. So I spent like 40 minutes at the local Barnes and Nobles with my friend, ChatGPTing like different smut series. So I love series. I'm not a huge fan of just one-off books just because of the fact that I just be feeling like sad on the inside. Like, I just finished this amazing book, now I'm attached to the characters, but you're telling me like there's not another story? So I try to stick with at least 2 to 3 book series, or one that plans on continuing. This one has 4, 5, 6 books in it. She also has another, like, basic, I think, so this is actually an extended series. This series is about a group of college students, and she has another series about these college students' parents. So she wrote that series first and then wrote this one. I didn't know that until I started the last book of the series, so I'm gonna go back and read the first series. But this is, essentially, she markets these as standalone books. However, they're kind of still a series. You can read them out of order if you would like, but I would recommend reading them in order just because there aren't really like giveaways in each book, but you definitely will put pieces together. Like if you read the 4th book before the 2nd, then you'll be like, oh, in the 2nd, oh, I know what's gonna happen. You know, so there's not too many spoilers if you read it out of order. However, I would recommend reading it in order, starting with the first one. With that being said, when I ChatGPT'd this series, this was like the most scrutinized, this first one. It does have a lot of triggers in it. So I would definitely like read the preface and make sure that you're not gonna get triggered or emotionally too upset while reading this. This one is definitely, I would say, like the most out of pocket story-wise. She also makes sure you know that she does not write Dream Prince Charmings. She writes morally gray character. When I say morally gray, I'm talking like 365 morally gray, not Christian gray. But Christian won't that gray, but morally gray in the sense that like some of her main characters are sociopaths. They are unfeeling, definitely antisocial, things like that. So if you are not into that, or you're not interested in reading anything like that, I wouldn't recommend this series because a lot of the stuff is definitely like illegal. So illegal, and a lot of this stuff can definitely get like very emotionally and mentally and psychologically intense. First question, how would you describe this series in 3 words? First, the whole series I would say is very sexy. You know, I am a romance girly. I can say now that I am a dark romance girly. So it's very sexy. It's not like your typical romance. I know that's not one word, but her storylines are they're very unique. That makes each book not just about romance. There's an actual storyline there, a history. There are different ways that you can relate and connect to each one of the stories, and I really, really like that. So my second word would be they're very unique. Third word, challenging myself. I feel like I need to learn more words, so this is a good one. Third word, I would say it's evolved. I would say the book series is very evolved. One of the things that I love about the series, and I'm a music head, is that she has a Spotify playlist for every single book. And so you can find that Spotify playlist on Spotify for each book. So if you like music, you can listen to the playlist and then it relates to the book. So I would say it's very evolved in that way also. In each book you get a legacy of gods. Like, it's essentially a family tree. That way you know like each character, how they're connected, who's related to who. She has I guess you could say, fan base that I'm a part of that is called the Rinaverse, and I'm like obsessed with it because she's gone like above and beyond to create this whole world. They're not just people, you know, their history. Their grandparents are included. They talk about their family business and all this other, like all these intricacies within the series, and I personally love to get like engulfed in the story. I like to feel that I am standing next to the character as if I am in their situation and or like by their side as their friend going through it with them. So that is how like involved I like to get in my books, and she, I believe, just created the whole series very much so like where you're not the reader, you are a part of the story. Let's see, next question. What kind of emotional damage did this series cause in the best way? Okay, so I would say the two emotionally damaging books are the first and the last. The first book, read the preface, check out ChatGPT. I don't want to give out too many spoilers, but this one is definitely can be very triggering in the sense that there are also a lot of non-consensual things in this one. So that's why it's like emotionally triggering. This one is, the last one, she built it up so perfectly because she mentions these two characters in this story like throughout all the other, 5 books. So by the time you get to this one, you're so ready to know what's going on between them because she doesn't give you much in the other books, but just enough to pique your interest. So I've been waiting for this one, and I just finished it last night, and boy, I was like telling my friend last night, I might do some therapy after this book. This one just had me like, dude, I hope this isn't a tragedy. The whole time I'm reading, I don't know how she's gonna make this work. I was like, I don't understand. I don't know. I was like, Lord, I had so much hope for these characters. Ooh, hold on. Got a call. I'm working. So this one of the main characters deals with a lot of mental health issues. So that just had me like, oh no, like I want this to be a happy ending. I want this to work out. And I'm over here like researching her illness, and I'm like, how is she gonna make this happen? Like I want this to be a happy ending. I'm like, come on, like, are there cures? Are there solutions? Like, what can they do? Because I had no idea how she was gonna end this book, and I really wanted it to be a happy ending. And so that was what kind of made this like emotionally taxing for me. There are some things you can't necessarily change, and so I was very just anxious to see how she was going to end this and if she was going to make it a tragedy versus a happy ending. You got to read the book to find out. So let's see, next question. I'm gonna skip through some of these. There's a lot of them. Next question is what kind of, oh, we just read that. What was your wait, what just happened moment? Oh, okay, so that happened, and I believe this one. So God of Pain, I would say was probably my like least favorite out of all of them. It was kind of tough getting through this one. And that was just more so like the characters. I enjoyed the characters. The storyline, of course, was very in-depth, but out of all 6 of them, this was, I would say, my least favorite. However, you could read it and it could be your favorite. Some of the stuff I felt I was like, that's cool, all right, whatever. But that just happened moment happens at the end, and someone gets shot, and it's one of those like, oh, did that just happen? I was like, whoa. At that point, that was when I was enjoying the book. So I was like, that did not just happen. So this one had that really like that awe factor, like that, like, oh, I didn't expect that. That was this one. Let's say. All right, what made you pick up book 1 and what made you keep going? Book 1, I had never read anything in my life like this. I was like shook, up, down, left, right. I was like, I didn't even know they put stuff like this in hard copies. I thought this stuff stayed in fan fiction. Like, I was like, that's really what made me keep going. I was like, I haven't read stuff this dark since my middle school days. I was like, girl. I haven't been reading heavy romance since I started my reading journey again. I've been reading a lot of fantasy, so to read Lights Out and then to hop into this one, it was just like getting dumped in cold water. That's really what it was. So that's why I kept going, because I was just very intrigued by like the story, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know they printed stuff like this. I was like, whoa, okay. There's a lot of like non-consensual stuff in this book, and so it can get very dark and it can get very like intense, and so that's why a lot of people talk badly about this, because it is extremely morally gray and there are a lot of triggers in it. So I'm going to keep saying that about the first one. The rest aren't as intense as this one. Was there a point where you almost threw the book across the room? Not really in any of them, honestly. Okay, who's your favorite morally gray man and why is he always the one you shouldn't want? 2, okay. This guy's crazy. And then honestly, my favorite book out of the whole series, hold on, is this one, the orange one, which is funny. When I first started this one, these were two characters that I was like, ugh, I don't really care about reading about them, but it ended up being my favorite in the whole series. So I didn't explain this earlier, but essentially in the first one, you are introduced to a group of kids who are in college. And you have an American university and you have a English university, and it's about their rival schools, and it's about students within each university and how they're living their lives. And so they are in England somewhere, they're British, and so I think that's cool. You get to read how they speak, and me being American, reading, mate, I was just joking with you and you're such a twat and arsh, like stuff like that. Just, I think that's funny. So reading like how they speak was really funny to me. These are all very wealthy individuals, and they all come from either old money, new money. You essentially just get to know their life. In each book, there's a male and a female lead. You get introduced to every character in the first book that creates the rest of the series. One chapter will be from one perspective, female, and then the next chapter will be from the male perspective. Like the male lead essentially. And I also find that really cool, because then you're not just getting one point of view, you're getting both point of views. And so that's why it can also be intense in some of these books, because some of these guys are crazy. You are in the mind of men who are a few French fries short of a Happy Meal. So you're like, you're in it, okay? And so the morally gray men you shouldn't, is that what the question was? Favorite morally gray man and why Is it always the one you shouldn't want? Oh, actually, I changed my mind. You shouldn't mess with this guy. But the morally gray man you shouldn't want, I would say, would be in these two books. The guy in this one, his name is Jeremy. Again, I wasn't intrigued about reading about him and his co-star, romantic co-star, essentially. Basically heir to a Russian mafia throne. He will make somebody disappear off the face of the earth. Or no. That's him. So this guy will waterboard, beat someone to a pulp, torment someone if they don't like him. This guy will make them disappear from the face of the earth. The morally gray man in this one is Eli. He's very toxic, but he's got heart. Which couple had the best chemistry and which one made you scream into a pillow the most? Best chemistry, man. Loved this one. I mean, this was my favorite out of the whole series. Absolutely love their story, love their drama. Main character, guy-wise, he is very dangerous, very calculating. And his love interest, she is very quiet. She's reserved. And throughout the book, you're learning why she's so reserved. She's considered the mom of the group. It was really cool to read her story and why she is who she is and why she's so selfless. And he comes in, makes her question herself and her perspective and why she is so selfless and why does she never give back to herself. Very much so connected to. So I like this one. Let's say, whose trauma arc had you in shambles? Man, this last one had me in shambles. Trauma arc, man. This one, she just had me. I was ranting to one of my best friends last night about it. I'm like, this one just had me. I was like, I really thought it was gonna be a tragedy. And so that being said, it wasn't. So spoiler. But next question, be honest, did you ever root for the villain? I rooted for this villain. And I rooted for this villain. This first time I brought this one out. So this one, the yellow one, God of Fury. This is a very interesting book because I have never read a book where there are gay and they're two guys, right? And so I've never read a book like that. So it was really cool to like be in both of their minds. And the thing is like, I peeped that though, like 3 books ago. I think this is like, I don't know, 3rd or 4th. Every book is like the 3rd or 4th. But I think this is like 5. I don't know. But with this one, it was very good because I love new perspectives and I also love being able to kind of step in someone else's shoes. And so to be able to like step into each of these guys' shoes and like learn their experience, because one of the guys is doesn't know that he's gay and is kind of living his life just following emotions. He's kind of emotionless and numb because he's just following what he thinks is socially correct and how he should act, and that's something that I also relate to. And so to have this guy who's just doing everything that he thinks he's supposed to do, and then the counterpart, his love interest, is someone who's openly lover of people. He don't care who you are, where you came from. He has been out since like he was like 12. So to have someone who's so open and honest and like this is me, this is who I am, to read how their dynamics are and how that changes kind of both of them and how they come together, that was really cool for me. So I definitely rooted for the villain, if you would, in this one. The villain being the guy who was like I am who I am. Also, amazing personality. My favorite person, I think this is how you say his name in this book. It's Nicolia. If anyone's read it, please correct me. Love his character, honestly. His personality is like freaking hilarious. He curses a lot. He's unapologetically himself. I laughed a ton to this book. Okay, plot and themes section. What themes stood out to you? Revenge, power, love and control, healing, etc. What I love about each of these books is that they're all different. Their storylines aren't similar. Each character is unique to themselves and they have their own stories, their own personalities, their own quirks. That just adds to the plot. Again, I love to feel like I am either with that person or experiencing what they're experiencing, and she did a beautiful job just creating these people. They, at this point, are no longer just characters, they are individuals. And so plot wise, you have the, you know, the very rich and popular, and you have the mafia dynamic, but it's not just about that. You have healing and struggling with trauma, you have revenge, you get point of views from the character's parents, and you have a whole heck of a lot of healing and self-reflection. There are a lot of stories and a lot of perspectives that a lot of people can actually relate to and understand. And I come from a pretty dark and twisty background, and so for someone who has experienced the dark and twisty of life, I feel like a lot of people have touched the dark and twisty, and it's cool to be able to read something and to be like, I understand why they're feeling that, or to read something and be like, this is raw, this is real, you know, this isn't just a happy story, this is multi-layered. And I think that's really beautiful too, because not every happy ending starts happily, and that is kind of how each of her stories are. And so I love that, because, you know, I also, again, reflect in that. I came from very humble, very dark and twisty beginnings, and I can say that I am living my happy ending. And so to have all these kind of dark and twisty stories, different perspectives, all unique, none of them are similar, and they are just like all over the place in the very best of ways. And then to have them come to a happy ending that makes sense, and it's not just, oh, all is forgotten. Like, she builds up and creates these healing experiences for each of the characters, and you get to experience the healing and the thought processes of each character through each of their stories. And that, to me, is what makes this an amazing series. I'm trying not to talk y'all's ears off again also, and then it's sexy, man. Like, who doesn't love a good smut book? So you got smut, but with story. All right, which character do you secretly think deserves a spinoff? This main girl's sister, she is talking to someone in the book, and I won't give it away, but it's very much so all over this book that the main character's sister is in love with this one character who I find freaking hilarious. And so the one character that I find super freaking hilarious, he's kind of a slut, but he's super, like, he's that one friend and everybody has him. And so it like pains me to know that this is the last book of the series and that she didn't make a series about him. But he is that one friend that just, he's a slut. I mean, he's not a slut, but he is. But that one friend that sleeps around, very charismatic, very much so, again, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And, you know, he speaks in third person. And to me, I just find that so funny. Like, he'll be like, how dare you, peasant? Like, what are you talking about? Because he also has, like, royal blood. So he's a little, you know, in over his head. He's just super funny. And so I really believe that this girl's sister and that guy, his name is Remington. I wish that she would write, or hope that she would write, a spinoff of him and her sister's story, because, like, he's just too funny. Like, he's too funny to not have his own book. Which quote or line is living rent-free in your head? I've been saying daft a lot. Like, when I want to insult somebody, I'm like, oh, so daft. Because there's a lot of stuff from each book that I would say lives rent-free in my head, but currently it's the daft. Or I'm not that daft, or that person's so daft. So daft to say that. Like, that's literally me currently. If this series was turned into a show, who would you cast? I'm gonna be honest, don't turn this into a show or a movie. Keep this a book. These characters are so well thought out, and there's so much depth. Majority of the story would be taken away if you tried to turn this into a movie or a book. Or a book, it is a book, a movie or a show. So I would not turn this into a show or a movie. I would keep it as a book. It's perfect as it is. Let's see. If you would like, guys, definitely let me know, and I'll go through and review each book individually. So definitely leave a comment. Also, if you read this series or you're thinking about it, or you want to know more about all the triggers, within each book before you read it, really leave me a comment. We'll talk about it. Also, I would love to know, who is your favorite character? Why? What did you relate to? And do you relate to anything I've said, or do you completely disagree with me? Definitely leave a comment, of course. I love chit-chatting, so let's talk. Honestly, each book was spectacular. It's a very good book. Again, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and read the first series, since technically this is a spin-off of the first series. And again, the first series is about all of these characters' parents. I don't know if I'll read that next. I think what I'm going to read next is this one, which I think is a romance, but it's also fantasy. So it's the Zodiac Academy. If anyone's read it, it's a long series. I think it's like 8 books. So that's why I'm gonna start this next. Hopefully it goes good. Fingers crossed. If you've read it, give me a heads up about if it's good, not good. I'm assuming since there's like 8+ books that it's pretty good. So this is what I'll be starting next. I'll probably start this today. So yes, guys, very thankful that you joined me for this book review. Let me know if there's more stuff that you want to know about this series specifically. If there's a series that you want me to review, if I didn't give enough information, if you want more spoilers, because I really don't want to give away spoilers, but if you want spoilers, I'll make another video, and dude, I'll go in depth, man. I'll be in it if you would like me to. Okay, so wonderful series. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. This is a great like transition into my dark romance era. So shout out to Romanc for making an exceptional book series. I also love that they're color coded, so each book, I don't know why the yellow one and the red one aren't yellow and red. That kind of bothers me. I might have to go and buy a new one that's yellow and red. All the other ones are colored, and it's like based off of one of the characters' like favorite colors. And so I think that's also cool too. There's like, these books are just so intricate, and 28,000 out of 10, man. This is a phenomenal series. So I will see y'all for the next book review. Hopefully it'll be for the Zodiac Academy, or you know, I might go ahead and individually review each book. Just let me know what y'all want. This is just a part of my book series review, or series, my book review series. You know, I'll still be posting everything else, but I'm gonna just start talking about stuff that I love, and one of those things is reading. I'll probably be making a video about motorcycles as well. So subscribe. It's gonna get, can't think. It's gonna get fun over on these streets, on these parts, man. So again, hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm gonna go make some French toast. I'm hungry.